There was never a dull day sailing in the San Francisco Bay. Today is no exception. We sailed through multiple whirlpools near the Golden Gate, one of which suddenly pushed the bow away, almost making the boat spin. The bridge looked even more spectacular in the fog. From sunset to sunrise, we had to reset anchor at 1 a.m. during our first time anchoring overnight.
It's 1 a.m. now. It sounds like cliche. I'm getting up on deck to reset the anchor.
A night full of successful failures. Hi everyone, we're Nathan and Katie. We just started sailing and fulfilled our dream of sailing underneath the Golden Gate Bridge. We are new and love every minute of it. This channel will document our sailing in the bay by featuring different destinations. So, let's roll! We plan to anchor out in Perez Cove overnight and come back the next morning, so we started the day with provisioning. I'd rather be spend more time on the water, so my plan was to quickly grab lunch and dinner and go. We do not want to spend too much time in the store, or do we? No, we can't have everything. Sorry, we can't have oyster. Clearly, my plan of quickly getting in and out of the store didn't work out. Fast forward, after spending too much time in the store, we finally got on the boat and motored out of the marina. Along the way to the Golden Gate, we overtook a pirate ship with a bunch of students who are literally learning the ropes. One of the most important things of sailing in San Francisco Bay is understanding the weather that's very localized based on where you are. Wearing the layers is a very good way, because even in the hottest summer day, with blue sky in Sausalito, East Bay, or Peninsula, Golden Gate could be covered by the fog and very chilly. Today we actually took out the boat and sailed across the Golden Gate during the max flood of 3.1 knots, which is not an ideal condition to sail across the Golden Gate Bridge. With the flood current of 3.1 knots, and leeway constantly pushing the boat away from the bridge, I found two things are very helpful. For one, I try to sail along the shore north to the Golden Gate without approaching the bridge from the middle of the flood. This part of the shore has a nickname of Hurricane Gulch, where the wind can be unpredictable and changing directions very frequently. But it does has a much less impact from the flood current. The second one is a good smooth tacking without losing much of the speed. Losing the speed will lead your boat being pushed away by current and leeway, even you think you are sailing forward. It happened to us once after we lost the speed after tacking. Based on the GPS tracking of Navionics, our boat actually moved backwards away from the bridge, even though we were sailing forward against the current with the bow always pointing to the bridge. When this happened, I had to bear away a little to regain my speed by pointing away from the bridge before I have enough speed to sail back to my original course. Let's do some exercise. Good job, Kitty! The add-on bonus of staying close to the North Shore instead of the middle of the slot is you don't have to dodge the container ships in the shipping channel. We've been sailing in this area the whole summer. Every time we brought the boat out, we experienced something new. Today is no exception. By the way, Kitty, this is not a good time to start the arm training. We saw multiple whirlpools close to the Golden Gate Bridge. I don't know if it's due to the max flood or something else, but they do look dangerous. You can tell they're different from afar, but we didn't realize they were whirlpools only after we were up close. The current is much stronger than adjacent waters, and it turns counterclockwise. We were approaching the biggest whirlpool, and somebody spotted dolphins. Never mind the whirlpools, let's videotape the dolphins. It seems dolphins don't mind the whirlpools. This shows you exactly how dangerous the whirlpool could be. Let's rewind and show you the slow motion. I tried to avoid the whirlpool as much as possible, but still when we approached the biggest whirlpool, the boat was suddenly pushed away by the strong cross current. I have to act really fast and stabilize the boat and return to our original course, especially there is a boat coming at us from the opposite direction. Every time sailing across the Golden Gate Bridge is a thrill to us. The bridge under the blue sky is spectacular, but sailing underneath the Golden Gate Bridge in the fog is surely more than that. After crossing the Golden Gate Bridge, we just tacked and went to the beam ridge and taking it all in this beautiful view of Golden Gate Bridge with the city of San Francisco as a backdrop. After that, it's pretty straightforward downwind the broad ridge. With the help of the flood current, it takes no time to sail back to Sausalito, anchor at the entry of Richardson Bay near Belvedere to have a nice lunch. Do you notice how drastic a difference the weather is? It's only 1 mile away and 45 minutes apart. I find this fascinating. In such a small area of less than 5 miles radius, in a span of several hours, sailing in the bay can prepare you for all kinds of different weather conditions. More interestingly, you can actually choose to sail tailored to your preference. You can sail in the sunny Sausalito, Raccoon Strait and the Delta to enjoy the warm weather, or sail in the slot to perfect your skill with 25 knots in almost every summer afternoon. Don't forget you can choose to sail across the Golden Gate Bridge during the maximum flood or ebb tide in chilly and foggy conditions. Container ships in the shipping channel certainly add flavors. After having a nice lunch in warm Sausalito under the blue sky with minimal wind, we decided to stay warm and dry and just did a minimal sailing in the nearby Raccoon Strait back and forth. In the late afternoon, we started to motor towards Paradise Cove. Along the way is Ayala Cove on the north side of the treasure island. Ayala Cove actually has the largest public moor and docking system in the bay. For a small amount of fee, you can moor overnight in Ayala Cove. We arrived at Paradise Cove pretty late, just before the sunset. We have only about half an hour before losing the sunlight, so we need to hurry. Katie was behind the wheel. I will be on deck, dropping the anchor. The boat has a 16-pound Danforth anchor with 230-foot combined chain and rope. The seabed is mostly mud that should have a good hold of the anchor. Two boats have already anchored here before us. Since right now it was during the strong ebb tide, you can tell that by looking at the bow of both boats. Both bows are facing the northwest corner where the sun is set. One thing to pay attention if you plan to anchor in Paradise Cove overnight is the tidal current change. Overnight, the tidal currents could change 180 degrees from the time you drop the anchor. The boat will swing along with the tidal current change. The bow will point to the new direction where the current comes from. That could be 180 degrees, totally opposite from the time you dropped the anchor. Some people suggest using Boharming more, basically tying two anchors both to the bow to reduce swing radius due to the tidal current change. However, I only have one anchor on the boat, so I have to settle with one. After dropping the anchor, we reversed the boat and let out enough chain and rope. In the end, we used 2000 RPM reversing to test if anchor is dragging. The boat didn't move at all. The anchor is perfectly set. Right after we set the anchor, it became dark. We quickly identified two range system port-side abeam to make sure we know where our boat is moving. Kitty?
Hi. You did a good job.
Sorry about the red light. It's a beautiful day, beautiful evening, beautiful Paradise Cove. I think we finally successfully anchored for tonight. We're gonna relax a little bit, have our dinner, enjoying this beautiful evening. Hey everyone, This is our first night anchored out in Paradise Cove. We got here pretty late, just 15 minutes before dark. We were pretty nervous because we never really anchored out before. I knew all of series, I tried in the daytime, so now it's the first time I and Katie did ourselves. So far, so good.
Little did we know I made a mistake. In another 2.5 hours, I have to get on deck to fix the problem. This is what happened. When we arrived at Paradise Cove, 2 boats have already anchored there. No problem, there were plenty of space. I just picked one spot pretty far away from both boats and dropped the anchor. At the moment when anchor was dropped, I was concerned more about paying out too little chains since our boat is further away from the shore and in a slightly deeper area. I know the tidal current will change from ebb to flood. Basically, the boat will swing about 180 degrees, making the bow pointing to the opposite direction. But since all the boats will swing the similar way, and I'm pretty far from the nearby boat, so I felt comfortable. This is what we were 2.5 hours after the anchor was dropped. It looks pretty good. However, my eyeballing distance between neighboring boat and mine, I kind of know I let out too much chain, since my boat swings in a much bigger radius than the neighboring boat. I could tell that by looking at the distance between our boats getting smaller and smaller, with both bows always pointing to the same direction. I decided not to do anything yet, but stay alert as anchor watch. I want to see how boats respond to the tidal current change. Since this is the first time we anchor out overnight, it is a great opportunity for us to learn. After midnight, there are good and bad. The good is boats move exactly as expected due to the tidal current change. The bad is boats move exactly as expected to get closer and closer since my boat swings a much bigger radius. This is the point I decided to get on deck to shorten the chains.
It's a close call. It's definitely a close call. Now it's 1 a.m. I'm getting up on deck to reset the anchor. I know it sounds like a cliche. Reset anchor at 1 a.m. because you didn't do that first time, right? For me, the problem is not the anchor. Anchor sat perfectly. Didn't drag, didn't move at all. The problem is I let out way too much chain than I should. My boat swings much bigger radius than my neighboring boats. So you see, that's a problem. I guess I'm the first one in the history to let out way too much chains instead of too little. When I learned to anchor, I was always reminded to let out enough chain. Some people use 7:1 ratio, some people use 5:1 ratio. So now I'm getting on deck. Okay. Yeah, it's pitch black now. So I'm here to bring up the slacked anchor chain to reduce the length. So let's just do it.
After I shortened the chain, the boat started to swing in a radius comparable to our neighboring boat. When the flood current reaches the maximum speed, the bow of the boat has turned 180 degrees from the direction when the anchor was dropped. However, the distance between our neighboring boat and ours never changed again. I stayed awake the whole night at the anchor watch and noticed our neighbors also got up twice to check their boat. In the end, we had a successful anchor overnight, even though the journey is not what we expected. But both of us agreed it's totally worth it. Did I mention watching the sunrise from the boat is spectacular?